Hello everyone, System Shogun here, and in today's quick video I'm going to show you how you can use the new .NET 10 validation for minimal APIs and more. I'm going to show you how you can add validation when your API endpoints are coming from an external class library, because as I'm going to show right now, by default this won't work. First, let's see how you can validate your requests using the new .NET 10 minimal API validation. For that, I have a simple solution, a default web API. We have the default controllers here. We'll remove that and let's create a new endpoint. Okay, let's create a post and at the end we will return that item, for example. Now we need to also create a record for that item. That will take just an ID and a string for name. And that's it. Let's run this project and let's use Postman. So we have items and we have a post. So we'll have JSON. And if I add something like this and name like this, it will work. And it does. It returns 200 OK. So now let's add the validation. For that, we only need to do one thing. We need to add the following service, add validation. And now let's run again without any modifications. And let's try again. And it still works. Why? We need to add attributes for the validation. For example, we should say that this is required and we need to import the data annotations. And the range needs to be between 1 and, for example, int max value. Okay, same thing for the name. It needs to be required and min length needs to be, for example, 3. Let's start again and see if there's a change now. And yes, we have the validation working. As if I add one character here, it will say that it needs to be at least 3 characters long. Okay, great. But now, if you want to do something like modular monolith, then your project will be separate into different class libraries. I'll show you one such project. Here, I have 3 modules and each module has its own API endpoints, as you can see here. And in the end, we add them in the program CS. So I'm wondering if this would work. So let's create a separate class library. Let's call it external module. And in there, we'll add external module services. We need to add, let's say, the API endpoints. Here is our endpoint extension method. And as you can see, we are adding our endpoints inside here, a separate class library. Let's add the dependency here and let's try again. So we will remove this item here and we will remove our endpoint here and we will add the external endpoint. Okay, so now we have the endpoints from this external library and everything else is the same. So we have the record here, we have the endpoint, we have the validation. Let's see if this works now. Okay, so it's API items and it returns OK, which means that validation suddenly stopped working. Why? We're adding it here, but it's still not working. Well, it's because how this actually works. It's looking for modules inside your current package, which in this case is this minimal API validation demo. And it's not looking for anything external, which is in our case, the record item here. So for this to work, what we need to do is actually, we need to add a second extension method, this time for services, where we add the validation here, where the modules live, where our request modules live. And we need to add this inside here. So let's try this. First of all, we'll remove this because we don't need it. And we'll add this instead. Everything else is the same. Let's run this again. And let's try again making this request. And now the validation works. So basically, that's how you do validation for minimal APIs using .NET 10. And that's how you can have validation working even if your endpoints are coming from another class library, like in this case. Also, keep in mind that you can use the iValidatable object interface for complex validation logic. So I'm not showing that here, but if you have complex validation, check it out. And that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. If you found this useful, make sure to subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends or colleagues, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much.